free to be whoever you want to be. Feel free to dance, feel free to sing, just feel free.
What's going on, everybody? Ooh, I'm gonna be a little loud. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. It is episode 10 of the Two Tone Talk podcast. And the Tennessee Titans are getting ready tomorrow, as of this recording, on Christmas Eve, to host the one-win Houston Texans, as the Titans just trying to get a win. Just trying to get a win over anybody at all. And they'll try their luck against Houston tomorrow. I haven't done an episode since Monday, obviously. I do episodes every Monday and Friday here on Two Tone Talk, Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, YouTube. That's where you can listen or watch. And I'll tell you, a lot has happened since I last recorded on Monday regarding the Titans. The biggest news coming out of the Titans world is the injury to Ryan Tannehill. Remember he was hurt. I think it was the Colts game, the second Colts game, where he got hurt the first time. He missed 2 weeks and then came back, and it's been kind of a lingering issue. And now he has re-injured it against the Chargers last week. And I think we all suspected that Mr. Tannehill was going to miss some time. I think we all kind of gathered that, okay, he's probably going to miss a week or two of action, and we just kind of had ourselves prepared for that. But according to Paul Kaharski, a reporter for the Tennessee Titans, it is very likely that not only is Ryan Tannehill going to miss some time, but it appears as though Ryan Tannehill may be done. He may have to have surgery on that ankle, and he may be finished. As a matter of fact, the words PK used were very likely that Ryan Tannehill is done for the year. I want to say thank you to Gregory Walker in the chat on YouTube, who says, love the show. Stay keeping it real, tighten up. Absolutely. Thank you very much. But yes, it appears as though Ryan Tannehill may very well be done. And so all of the attention shifts now to Malik Willis, who started 2 games earlier in the year, one against Houston, the other on the road in Kansas City. And in those games, Malik Willis definitely looked like a rookie. He looked like a rookie who's making his slow transition to the NFL. Did some good stuff in the first half of the Chiefs game. Made a couple of nice throws. And let's be fair. Let's remember there were a couple of nice throws that were dropped. I remember one by Chris Conley. The other may have been by Nick Westbrook-Akine. A couple nice throws that were dropped. But, just looked like a rookie. Looked like a kid in there trying to figure out his way in that game. But it may very well be him the rest of the way, however far this team goes. We know they got at least 3 games left, and anything beyond that, it may be him. And so the Tennessee Titans are now forced into a situation where they have got to see what they've got with this kid. I know earlier in the year when he started those couple of games, it was like they were just trying to do the bare minimum with him to try and get through those games to when Tannehill could come back. And, they didn't want to ask too much of him. They altered the game plan to kind of suit him. The bottom line is, for these next few weeks and beyond, if they make the playoffs, you got to just turn the kid loose. For better or for worse, in my opinion, you just got to go out there and let him sling it. Let him run it. Let him go. Let him throw it downfield. You have to now. You have to. You have no choice. Because in all likelihood, you can't just try to hold over till Tannehill comes back. Because in all likelihood, Tannehill is not coming back. So with Malik, in my opinion, you just gotta. It is what it is. Put him out there, and here's the thing: if he does really well, then you might feel good about just going with him next season. Consider this an audition for him to have the offense. I will say this: he only played one possession in the Chargers game. I thought, as did Mike Vrabel, that he did look more comfortable on that possession he played. Made a couple of third down conversions on that drive. Did some nice stuff with his legs. I know it was only one possession, but he did look more comfortable in that one possession than I thought that he looked in the 2 games earlier this season that he started. So I think you got to put him in there. You got to turn him loose. If he's great, if he does well, then maybe that's your guy next season. If he doesn't, then I don't know what you do. And that leads me to my next topic, which is, what is the future of Ryan Tannehill with this team? Not just the rest of this season, because keep in mind, he has not been placed on injured reserve yet. We have guys who have been put on injured reserve, because that's a weekly occurrence. But as for Ryan Tannehill, he has not been placed on injured reserve yet. So they may still be holding out hope that Tannehill can come back for Week 18 against the Jaguars, which looks like it is indeed going to end up being for the AFC South, which is embarrassing, I have to say. No matter if the Titans end up taking the division or not, it is embarrassing that game is probably going to come down to being for the AFC South. Embarrassing when this team had such a huge lead in this division. I just have to revisit how embarrassing it is that they have allowed this situation to get to this point. But I digress. They may be holding out hope that Tannehill can come back for that game. But, I think as a fan, I'm going forward with the expectation that he's probably done, and it's going to be Malik the rest of the way. One encouraging thing for Malik is that Treylon Burks was not wasn't playing when Malik started earlier this season. He was on IR during that time. So this is going to be the first time that Malik's been out there with Treylon Burks, who is really the only wide receiver threat on the team. So that helps. But yeah, I think as far as Tannehill's future with the team, I think it might depend on what you see from Malik these next few weeks. I think if Malik performs well enough, they may be confident. Keep in mind, you got a new GM coming in this offseason, and you don't know. I mean, it's probably going to be somebody that Vrabel kind of has a big-handed picking, so it's probably going to be somebody who wants the same things that Vrabel wants, and we know that Vrabel is a big Tannehill guy. But if Malik performs really well the rest of the way, however long the rest of the way is, I think that's a conversation that has to happen, because this team can save money by parting ways with Ryan Tannehill this upcoming offseason. So if Malik does well, that seems like a viable option to just go with him, mold him this offseason and in training camp, and then, Ryan Tannehill, there will be plenty of opportunities for him to go play somewhere else should he want that. One team that comes to mind for him would be the Atlanta Falcons, because Arthur Smith loves getting former Titan players. Arthur Smith had a lot of success as the offensive coordinator in 2020 with Ryan Tannehill as the quarterback. That's just something I'll throw out there, because Falcons are done with Mariota, and Desmond Ridder didn't look great in his debut with the Falcons. So, I mean, I think I could absolutely see Ryan Tannehill playing for the Falcons next year. But I could also see him playing for the Titans. I mean, if Malik still looks like he's not ready, if he looks like he's going to need more time, if he looks like he's not a sure thing, I absolutely think this team will bring back Ryan Tannehill for another year. Because really, they've got so many other holes to fill. Obviously, the offensive line is going to need a huge makeover. Obviously, you need more wide receivers. Obviously, you need some help in the secondary. So there's going to be other areas to look at, and we don't even know what the situation is with Derrick Henry. We don't know if Derrick Henry's going to be back, so who knows what's going to be going on at the running back position. That's your most important player for the last 5 years that you don't know what the situation's going to be with him. So I think you get to a point where is the quarterback, is that something you want to have to worry about this offseason where you've got so many other concerns? And I think that, they may view the safe bet as, well, let's just stick with Tannehill for another year. But as I said, if Malik goes in there and tears it up over these next few weeks, then maybe that's cause for a conversation that says, hey, let's mold this team around guys like Malik, Traylon Burks, Chig Okonkwo, Roger McCreary. Let's mold the team around these young guys like this. And it is ironic that John Robinson was fired, and it looks like his last draft is actually going to end up being a pretty successful draft. I mean, if Traylon continues to play well, McCreary seems to be trending in the right direction. Petit Frere has his issues, but he's by far not even close to the worst offensive lineman on the team. He's, third best out of 5 on the starting offensive line. So, but I think you have to view that draft as a success with those 3 guys, and who knows what the future is with Kyle Phillips. He spent most of his season on IR, and he probably won't be back. So, anyway, you build around guys like that. You bring back Jeffrey Simmons for a ton of money. Keep this defense going, and then start to remold this offense. That's probably the look for the offseason. But going to be very interesting to see how Malik does over these next few weeks and, where we stand at the end. As far as the game tomorrow against Houston, it's going to be cold. I'm a Southerner, so I will say this is some of the coldest temperatures that I have ever felt in my life. I know some of you in Wisconsin and Minnesota and places like that are laughing hysterically, but it's cold, okay? And it's going to be very cold for this game between Houston and Tennessee tomorrow. And I would think that suits the Titans because of what they have with Derrick Henry and the fact that Derrick Henry always does well against the Texans. With Malik in there, and they're going to really rely on Henry a lot, I would think Derrick Henry could have a very big day tomorrow. In the cold, you never want to have to hit Derrick Henry anyway, but especially when it's freezing. So that's something to look at. I think that you look at the injuries. Here we go. The only 2 competent starting offensive linemen we have right now are out. And Ben Jones is done, by the way. Ben Jones has been placed on IR with another concussion. And I don't want to speculate, but I would have to say Ben Jones probably has played his last down as a Tennessee Titan, and maybe for good. I mean, he's got a family, and when you talk about getting numerous concussions in a short period of time, that's something that causes you to step back and say, okay, maybe it's time for me to step away. So it wouldn't shock me if Ben Jones is probably done. I know how tough of a guy he is. But he's definitely done for this season. So he won't be back. Nate Davis is not playing tomorrow. They're starting right guard with a knee injury. So who knows? I mean, even Aaron Brewer and Nicholas Petit Frere were listed as questionable, although I do expect them to play. We've got 2 openings on the offensive line tomorrow. And what kind of cruel irony is it that the only healthy offensive lineman on the team is, guess who? Dennis Daly. The only healthy option, the only one tomorrow that's not questionable at all is Dennis Daly. Jeez. So, I don't know what starting offensive line is going to be. That worries me for Malik. That worries me for Derrick Henry. That worries me for the Titans. Traylon Burks is back. That's great news. Danico Autry is back. That's great news. Christian Fulton out once again. That's not good news because not just for tomorrow, but I mean, the guy's hurt a lot. Christian Fulton is hurt a lot. He misses a lot of games. And we got to talk about that at some point because I agree he does well when he's in there, but it's, he's in there so seldomly. I don't know. So you're going to get a lot of, this Greg Maben in the secondary tomorrow. You're going to get a lot of guys that you've never heard of on the offensive line tomorrow. So, yippee! Here we go. And in case you didn't notice, last night although I was rooting hard for the Jets, they absolutely failed us all. The Jets look atrocious, and the Zach Wilson that experiment has come to a complete close. The Jets are going to be in the market for a quarterback. Maybe Tannehill can go play for them. The Jets dropped one to the Jags. Jags beat them 19-3. Jags didn't look great last night, but they won. They're now a half game back of the Tennessee Titans, and if the Titans lose tomorrow, the Jags will go into first place in the division because they currently own the tiebreaker over the Titans, and we would officially be rolling toward Week 18, Titans, Jags in Jacksonville for the division, a playoff spot. Again, humiliating, embarrassing, disgusting, and bad. But yeah, I was rooting for the Jets last night. They didn't get it done. Jags win. Now, for Tennessee, you say, okay, if you beat Houston tomorrow, great. You have a quick turnaround to play the Cowboys at home next Thursday night. Okay. So, I know the Titans are already banged up. No telling who's going to get hurt tomorrow. But theoretically, to avoid that Week 18 win and in game, you could hope that the Titans beat Houston tomorrow and then somehow, some way, turn around and beat the Cowboys on Thursday night. That's a tall order, but I will say this. The Cowboys, they're kind of on autopilot because they're locked into that 5 seed in the NFC. They're not catching Philadelphia. Nobody's catching them in the wild card race. So the Cowboys, I'm hoping, will just kind of be on autopilot, and maybe that'll allow the Titans to sneak up on them. But if that were to happen, if the Titans were to get 2 wins within a few days of each other, beat Houston tomorrow, and then beat Dallas on Thursday, then the Jaguars have to play, you guessed it, the Houston Texans a week from Sunday. And if the Texans were to sneak up and win that game, then the Titans would clinch the division, and the Week 18 game against Jacksonville would be meaningless. I don't think Houston's going to beat Jacksonville. I don't think Tennessee's going to beat Dallas. I don't even know if Tennessee's going to beat Houston. I don't know if any of these things are going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see. I see a lot of analysts are now picking the Jags to win the division. They're picking the Titans to lose out and the Jags to win out. And I know a lot of Titans fans on Twitter get mad about that, but all I can say is who can blame them? The Jaguars are doing this, and the Titans are doing this. Jaguars are going up, Titans are coming down. Of course they're going to pick the Jags to win the division. The Jags look like the infinitely better team right now. I mean, Jags are getting hotter, Titans are getting colder. I mean, you can't blame people. If I weren't a Titans fan, I would pick the Jags to win the division, you know? But anyway, that's the situation for this weekend. Titans, Texans, I think, like I said, you're going to get a heavy dose of Derrick Henry in the cold. And, losing, I know, it is what it is, and the Titans have a lot of injuries. But losing a 5th straight game and having it be to the Houston Texans tomorrow, that would be horrible. Houston has 1 win on the year, and that 1 win is against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but Houston's a terrible team. Okay? The Titans are trending in the wrong direction. They need to win this game. I'm telling you. If you want to have any hope at all, the Titans got to win this game. Because you cannot. They've lost 4 straight, people. They've lost 4 straight. You're going to go out and lose a 5th straight to the worst team in the league. You're talking about we're finding a new rock bottom every single week. Every week the game ends and I'm like, well, this is rock bottom. Man, you want to talk about a new rock bottom? Losing your 5th straight and having it be to the Houston Texans, that's another new rock bottom. So I'm still viewing this as a game Titans really, really need to win. And yes, without Ben Jones, without Nate Davis, I don't know who the heck's playing on the offensive line tomorrow. I mean, Brewer and Petit Frere are questionable. The only sure thing, as I said, is freaking Dennis Daly. I don't know who's playing offensive line. The defense looks like it's going to be at a little fuller strength than usual because they're getting Autry back, probably getting Zach Cunningham back as well. So the defense will probably be at a little fuller strength. But the offense too, I mean, getting Traylon back helps. But who knows what we're going to get out of Malik Willis. I am excited to watch Malik because, as I said, I view this as an audition for him. I view this as an audition for him. Now, I do want to acknowledge this before I get to talking about the other games this weekend and making picks. Let me get a sip of coffee before I do this. Ever since the game last week, Titans fans have been at each other's throats on Twitter. I mean, at each other's throats. Because some people, even before the news broke that Tannehill was very likely done for the rest of the year, you had a group of people who said, we need to just go to Malik. We need to just go to Malik. Our offensive line's terrible. At least Malik can move, which Ryan Tannehill can't. He's on a bad ankle. At least Malik can move, escape the pocket, extend plays, and we need to know what we've got with him to know what the heck we're going to do next year. So let's just go with Malik the rest of the way, and if it's horrible, we're already looking bad anyway. But then there was another group of people that said, no, we need to stick with Tannehill. We need to stick with Tannehill. He's a better option. He's tough, and he is tough. He is a tough guy. He loves this team, and I appreciate that. But it was just a battle all week. And then the news came out about Tannehill, and you had some Titans fans who were like, well, the season's over. Season's over. And then you had some people who said, well, the season's just begun. We have hope now because Malik's in there. Here's the thing, guys. Two things can be true at once. Malik Willis, in my opinion, the two games that he started earlier this year, he does not look ready. He did not look ready. Okay? Now, like I said, the possession he played against the Chargers the other day, he looked calmer. He looked more in control. He looked more comfortable. I know it was only one possession, but I did think he looked more comfortable. But either way, even though he looked pretty much bad in the two games earlier this year that he started, I think it's ridiculous to totally just rule him out now. I think that's absurd. To just say, well, he sucks and he's not going to be any good, and what I don't know why you would live such a negative life. Why would you? How can we say that yet? I don't know what Malik Willis is going to be. I don't know what we're going to get out of him tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to get out of him the rest of this season and the next season and beyond. I don't know. But to just count the kid out because he didn't play well or up to your standards, earlier this season in the game he started, I just don't think that's fair. And I understand the argument that the team has reached their ceiling with Tannehill. You can't go any further. He's not terrible, but he's not going to get you over the hump. It's kind of like with John Robinson. We've hit the ceiling. He got us to a certain point, and now we're there, and we can't go any higher, and that's it. I understand that too. I just think that if Malik still looks like he's not ready to be a starting NFL quarterback, and you can't go into this offseason feeling good about him next year, you can't really fault the Titans for strongly considering bringing Tannehill back. It's a complicated situation. I think it's ridiculous to just give up on Malik already because we've barely seen anything. He's a rookie. He's a work in progress. We know how that is. I also think it's ridiculous to just assume that he should be the guy going forward because, we haven't seen anything good out of him yet that makes you say, okay, he's quarterback next season. Now, he's going to get his chance. He's going to get his chance. But I don't want to go too far either way right now. I'm not going to go on the Malik sucks, get rid of him side, and I'm not going to go on the Malik is our savior, give him the reins to give him the keys to the kingdom side either. I'm not going to go either way, all the way. I'm not going to go extreme in either direction. I'll just say I'm rooting for whoever's in there. I'm rooting for Malik. I would love for him to become that guy and be the franchise quarterback. That's what I want. That's what I want. But if he's not ready yet, then yeah, I'm down to consider some other option. You know, I can't believe there's so many people going so extreme in either direction. You know, the Malik sucks direction or the Malik is the, future of the franchise. I don't know how you can go too far in either direction. Somebody in the YouTube chat said, Wes said, why can't we make a move on Aaron Rodgers? I think the move Aaron Rodgers is going to make is retirement. He looks kind of done. A lot of people suggested the Titans go get Tom Brady too. Brady looks finished as well. But to be fair, sorry if you're listening, I took a sip of coffee. Brady also, a few years ago, I didn't want Tom Brady, and then he went and won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. So what do I know? Let's talk about the other games this weekend. Bills, Bears in Chicago. Go with the Bills. I mean, the Bills have clinched their division, but they're still trying to fight for that 1 seed, that coveted bye that I know they want, that they currently are the 1 seed. So they want to keep that. So I'm going to say the Bills come out, guns a-blazing and beat the Bears in what I assume will be a very cold game. Saints-Browns in Cleveland. Saints are in a battle for the NFC South at 5-9. They're there, and the Browns. It's in Cleveland. Browns, they don't look great, but they're trying to find their way with Deshaun Watson. I'm going to say give me the Browns in this one. I think the NFC South is just bad, and I still think the Saints are just. I know they beat the Falcons last week, and maybe they can try to build on that for something, but I don't buy it. Give me the Browns over the Saints in a low-scoring, boring game. Texans-Titans. I'm going to take you. Talk about low-scoring, boring game. Give me the Titans over the Texans by a score of like 13-10. One of those kinds. Seahawks-Chiefs. Kind of sucks for the Seahawks because they're fighting for their lives, and now you got to go to Kansas City play the Chiefs. The Chiefs, who are also trying to get to that 1 seed, and so they're going to be at full strength, and they're coming off of a poor performance against Houston, a game in which they won, but probably didn't play as well as they thought they should. So, for that reason, of course, give me the Chiefs over the Seahawks. It's in Kansas City. Chiefs are a 10-point favorite. I think the Seahawks are really about to be on the outside looking into that playoff picture. Give me the Chiefs in that one. Giants-Vikings. Vikings are 11-3. I don't feel like they can catch the Eagles. They're pretty much 3 games behind the Eagles in the NFC because the Eagles beat them head-to-head. And so I think they're just kind of, it's either going to be 2 or 3 for them. So the Giants, they're playing for everything. When they're 8-5-1, they're sitting good in the wild card race, but not too much room for error. I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to say Giants go into Minnesota and get the win. It's like a 23-20 game. Give me the Giants over the Vikings. I've been picking against the Giants, and they keep proving me wrong. So I'm going to pick for the Giants this week. Bengals, Patriots. Again, Patriots are one of those teams who are fighting to get in. And the Bengals are one of the hottest teams in football right now. So, give me the Bengals over the Patriots in this game. The Patriots I think they're, any bit of magic that they had has run out. So, I got to take the Bengals in that one. Like I said, the Bengals, one of the hottest teams in the league. Detroit Lions, Carolina Panthers. Panthers had a real shot last week to really start making some noise in the NFC South. They lost to the Steelers. I absolutely think the Lions are on their way. They're a much better team than Carolina. They're a much hotter team than Carolina right now. And Detroit's trying to really make a push for those playoffs. and I think they continue that this week. I think the Lions beat the Panthers in Carolina. This has the makings of one of those crazy, like, down-to-the-wire games, but I feel like the Lions get the win, improve to 8-7, and keep their playoff hopes alive. Falcons-Ravens. Ravens once again going to be without Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. Atlanta just looks lost. I think they've lost 5 of their last 6 games. I mean, they look bad. They're going to have Desmond Ridder. This is tough. I think, again, this may be one of those kind of boring, low-scoring games. The Falcons, again, could really do themselves a favor if they could find a way to win this game because they'd be right there in the division. I just don't think they will, though. Give me the Ravens in this one. I think the Ravens are able to run the ball well enough to, get some field goals. I mean, I'm saying like 12-6. Like, that's the way I see this game. I just see a lot of games that are going to be low-scoring and boring this week. Commanders, 49ers. Here's a big game for NFC playoff implications. Commanders are, I believe, the 7th seed right now. They've got Detroit breathing down their neck. The 49ers just getting better and better with Purdy at quarterback. And I was upset with the Commanders last week because I thought they were going to beat the Giants. They didn't. I'm afraid they're going to lose again. I'm going to go with the 49ers over the Commanders. It's in San Francisco. The Niners are just clicking with all these weapons. So give me the 49ers over the Commanders, and that would put the Commanders at 7-1 and officially put Detroit in the playoffs for the time being. If this happens, the Commanders lose and the Lions win. This could be the week that the Detroit Lions, what a season they've had. Second half of the season especially. Eagles, Cowboys. This should be a bigger game than it is, but the Eagles are like 3 games ahead of the Cowboys, and even if the Cowboys were to win this game, I just can't imagine. I mean, the Eagles would have to lose out, and the Cowboys have to win out. I think it's a done deal. The Eagles will be without Jalen Hurts, and so for that reason, I am going to pick the Cowboys to get a revenge. Not a revenge, but a rebound win after losing to the Jags last week. I'm going to pick the Cowboys over the Eagles, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think the Eagles are still going to win the division. I think they're still going to be the 1 seed, and I think the Cowboys are still going to be the 5 seed. Because even if the Cowboys win this game, like I said, they still need the Eagles to lose out, and the Cowboys need to win out. I don't see that happening, but I am picking the Cowboys to beat the Eagles. Raiders, Steelers. This is just a battle of the teams who are on life support in terms of playoff hopes. Raiders got one of the wildest wins I've seen last week with the crazy ending. I think they continue to build off that. Give me the Raiders over the Steelers. This is on Christmas Day, I believe. No, it's not. That's still Christmas Eve. All the games up until that point are on Christmas Eve. Give me the Raiders over the Steelers in a game that really doesn't matter. Packers, Dolphins. Dolphins, they've lost 3 in a row. So they really need to win. It's in Miami. Packers are actually looking better. And this is a game where if you're Miami, this would be your 4th straight loss. And, you've now got the Chargers who are coming along. And honestly, this is something that I don't think many people have talked about, but if the Dolphins were to slip up and lose this game on Christmas Day, let's just say they lost, is it possible? Now, I don't know how the tiebreakers and all that stuff work out, but is it possible that the Titans and Jags could both make it? Because I haven't even thought about that. If whoever doesn't win the AFC South ended up, I think you would have to get to 9-8 to have a chance, because I can't believe the Dolphins would lose out. I don't know what the tiebreakers and all that. It's just something I'm just thinking out loud. But the Dolphins are, they're slipping and slipping and slipping. I think they're going to win this game, though. I think the Dolphins can beat the Packers. If they're going to be close, they're going to probably be the most entertaining game of the day on Christmas Day. So give me the Dolphins to finally get a win after losing a few. This is the kind of thing. This is a big game for Miami, because if the Dolphins win this, it's like, okay, they're really they're set in stone. They're going to be a wild card team. But if you lose this game, then it's really, you have some doubts about hey, are they going to get caught by one of these teams, that are on their tail? This is an interesting game, man. I mean, this is a big game for the Miami Dolphins on Christmas Day. Broncos, Rams, who could possibly care? Who could possibly care about this game? Give me the Rams, but it means nothing unless you're thinking about the draft. Bucks, Cardinals. Bucks, I mean, the division's yours for the taking, guys. Anytime you want to just take over this NFC South, it's right there. It's in Arizona, Sunday Night Football. I'm picking the Bucks, but I'm doing it hesitantly. Because every time that I think the Bucks are finally going to find their way and take over this division, they just wet the bed over and over and over. But I'm going to hesitantly pick the Bucks over the Cardinals, and my dog agrees. The dog agrees. He probably just heard somebody shut a door outside or something, if you heard that. Anyway, that's it for episode 10 of the Two Tone Talk podcast. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, Titans, Texans, gonna get it on in Nashville. Titans trying to stop the bleeding as the Jags are right on their tail. And that's that. If I don't, and I won't see you before then. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Win, lose, or draw tomorrow. I hope you have a great holiday, great weekend. Try and stay warm, stay merry, stay bright. Even though it's, as a Titans fan, it's hard to be all of those things right now. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. See you Monday when all the dust settles. Staying way too high on the wins, way too low on the losses. Two Tone Talk podcast. Tighten up, everybody. See ya.
Take your words, stomp 'em